the Drive-By Truckers is going to be played a full step down on guitar, meaning that we take all of these strings and we lower them in pitch. The 6th string, which is typically tuned to an E, gets detuned to a D, and I'm already tuned. I'm just looking at my tuner to make sure that I'm still in tune. But anyway, the 6th string gets tuned down to a D. The 5th string gets tuned down to a G. The 4th string gets tuned down to a C. The 3rd string gets tuned down to an F. The 2nd string gets tuned down to an A. And then the 1st string gets tuned down to a G. So this G shape is not an actual G, it's actually an F, is what this would be. So once you get detuned down a full step, the riff is going to begin. It's a walking riff down the neck of the guitar. It's going to begin on the 5th string, 10th fret with your 2nd finger, and you're going to put your ring finger on the 2nd string, 10th fret, and you'll pluck down with your thumb on the 5th string and up with your 2nd finger on the 2nd and 3rd strings. You've got the 2nd string fretted and the 3rd string is open. After one down pluck and one up pluck, you're then going to move your 2nd finger to the 6th string, 10th fret, and do the same thing. And that motion between the 5th string and the 6th string will be happening through this whole song. So that's the first chord. The second one, drop down 2 frets. So your 2nd finger is on the 5th string, 8th fret, and then you go to the 6th string, 8th fret. And then down 1 more fret to the 7th fret. Down 2 more frets to the 5th fret. And then finally it lands on a C. Now on the C chord, Patterson Hood actually puts his 2nd finger down on the 4th string, 2nd fret, while keeping everything else the same with moving between the 5th string and the 6th string. And then that repeats. That main riff is the intro and most of the verse. Once you get that down, the next change is going to be to the chorus, which will be a D chord and a C chord. In the D chord, you want to put your 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Your ring finger is going to be on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and you'll strike the open 4th string. Strike that down with your thumb. Then you're plucking up with your 1st and 2nd finger on strings 2 and 3 respectively, still with this kind of down and up feel that you've had going the whole time. But here you'll be alternating between the open 4th string and then the open 5th string. So 4, 5, 4, 5. And that's what you're doing inside of the D chord. And then the 2nd chord of the chorus is going to be a C chord, where you're doing the same thing that you were doing in the verses, alternating between the 5th string, 3rd fret and the 6th string, 3rd fret. And it alternates doing that between the D chord and the C chord. So it goes D, C, to the D, to the C. The 3rd time through, it holds on the D chord for 1 extra round, then goes down to the C, and then goes back to the main riff. Now sometimes Patterson Hood, instead of going back up and walking down that main riff, he actually does it on these lower strings, and that will sound like the way that you're going to do that is we've got starting just basically a standard G chord. I've got my 2nd finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, my ring finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. the 5th string will be blocked out, but the 4th and 3rd strings will ring open. And you'll go back and forth down on the 6th string, up on the 2nd and 3rd strings with your 1st and 2nd finger. So 6th string 3rd fret, and then you'll go 6th string 1st fret. That's a bit of a stretch with your 1st finger, but that's what you're grabbing there. And then you're going to want for the 4th and 3rd strings to remain open, and your ring finger to remain on the 2nd string 3rd fret. You're going to hit that twice. Then you're going to go to an E minor. So open up the 6th string and put your 1st finger on the 5th string. Open up the 6th string, put your 1st finger on the 5th string 2nd fret. And then it's going to come up to the D. And then it'll come down to the C. And it does that again, going G, F, E minor, D, C. And that's just a low version of this original higher riff. Versus and those are the chords to Heathens by Drive-By Truckers and Patterson Hood. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how to approach this song.